Alright, so this is going to be my Bible reading for today. I just posted the one that I should have posted yesterday, but I completely forgot about that, so it should be uploading, but I want to read my 2 Bible pages today. Again, I keep saying maybe tonight I'll read it, but I never do read my Bible at night usually. Well, depending, sometimes I do, but most of the times I don't because I just get really tired, but I'll just keep trying and I'll see what happens. But for today, I'm just going to read 2 pages since I came out a little bit late. But I do want to get up to 4 pages every single day because that'll help me out a little bit, help me move through the Bible a little bit quicker, but I'm not going to rush it either, so it is what it is. For right now, we are on whatever that says, 7, page 420 to 421, and I'm just going to start reading right now. Okay. Sorry, I got a bee that keeps trying to land on my hair. Okay. Let me find my place real quick. I know I read a little bit of this. Ether replied, "My request. My deepest wish is that your majesty loves me. That if your majesty loves me and wants to grant my request, that you come again with Haman tomorrow to the banquet I shall prepare for you. And tomorrow I will explain what this is all about. What a happy man was Haman as he left the banquet, but when he saw Mordecai there at the gate, not standing up or trembling before him, dude, I have a crazy looking jumping spider on me. What the? Pretty sure this is a jumping spider. I'm like 90% sure he's jumping around, so. Yeah, that is a jumping spider. What type of jumping spider is this? Hello, buddy. Oh. Alright, sorry about that. I'm back. I was just playing with the jumping spider for a little bit. Oh, that was a big jumping spider. I ain't seen one that big. I'm not too sure where he went, but he jumped down somewhere over there. I think I see some webbing down there, actually. But try to get back to where I was at real quick. Let's see. He was furious. However, he restrained himself and went on home and gathered together his friends and Zeresh his wife, and boasted to them about his wealth and his many children and proclamations the king had given him, and how he had become the greatest man in the kingdom next to the king himself. Then he delivered his final punchline. Yes, and Ether the queen invited only me and the king himself to the banquet she prepared for us, and tomorrow we are invited again, but yet, he added, all this is nothing when I see Mordecai the Jew just sitting there in front of the king's gate, refusing to bow to me. Ooh, sorry about that. I felt like I had another bug on me. Hold up. Hold that. Okay. Well, suggested Zeresh his wife and all his friends, get ready a 75-foot high gallows, and in the morning ask the king to let you hang Mordecai on it. And when this is done, you can go on your merry way with the king to the banquet. This pleased Haman immensely, and he ordered the gallows built. That night, the king had trouble sleeping and decided to read a while. He ordered the historical records of the kingdom from the library, and in them he came across the item telling him how Mordecai had exposed the plot of Bychenia and Thresha, two of the king's accountants, watchmen at the palace gates, who had plotted to assassinate him. What reward did we ever give Mordecai for this? The king asked. His countors replied, "Nothing. Who is on duty in the outer court?" The king inquired. Now, as it happened, Haman had just arrived in the outer court of the palace, asking to hang Mordecai from the gallows he was building. So the courtiers replied to the king, "Haman is out there. Bring him in," the king ordered. So Haman came in, and the king said to him, "What should I do to honor a man who truly pleases me?" What should I do to honor a man who truly pleases me? Haman thought to himself, "Whom would you want to honor more than me?" So he replied, "Bring out some of the royal robes the king himself has worn, and the king's own horse, and the royal crown, and instruct one of the king's most noble princes to robe the man and lead him through the streets on the king's own horse, shouting before him. This is the way the king honors those who truly please him." "Excellent," the king said to Haman. "Hurry and take these robes and my horse, and do just as you have said to Mordecai the Jew, who works at the..." Not too sure what that word is. Chancelllery. Follow every detail you have just suggested. So Haman took the robes and put them on Mordecai, and mounted him on the king's own steed, and led him through the streets of the city, shouting, "This is the way the king honors those who he delights in." Afterwards, Mordecai returned to his job, but Haman hurried home utterly humiliated. When Haman told Zeshra, his wife, and all his friends what had happened, they said, "If Mordecai is a Jew, then there's a B. Then, where was that? I lost my place. Sorry about that. Oh, here. If Mordecai is a Jew, you will never succeed in your plans against him. To continue to oppose him will be fatal." While they were still discussing it with him, the king's messenger arrived to conduct Haman quickly to the banquet Ether had prepared. So the king and Haman came to Ether's banquet. Again during the wine course, the king asked her, "What is your petition, Queen Ether? What do you wish?" "Whatever it is, I will give it to you, even if it is half of my kingdom." At last, Queen Ether replied, "If I have won your favor, O king, and if it pleases your majesty, save my life and the lives of my people." Sorry, I was looking around for a spider because I see webs on my chair. I'll look after I'm done. Lives of my people, for I and my people have been sold to those who will destroy us. We are doomed to destruction and slaughter. If we were only to be sold as slaves, perhaps I could remain quiet. Though even then there would be incalculable damage to the king that no amount of money could ever begin to cover. "What are you talking about, King?" Ahasuerus demanded. "Who would dare touch you?" Ethyr replied, "The wicked Haman is our enemy." Then Haman grew pale with fright before the king and queen. Then Haman, I already read that. The king jumped to his feet and went out into the palace garden. As Haman stood up to plead for his life to King Ethyr, or Queen Ethyr, for he knew that he was doomed. In despair he fell upon the couch where Queen Ethyr was reclining, just as the king returned from the palace garden. "Will he even rape the queen right here in the palace before my very eyes?" the king roared. Instantly, the death vial was placed over Haman's face. Then Harbona, one of the king's aides, said, "Sir, Haman was just ordered 75-foot gallows constructed to hang Mordecai, the man who saved the king from assassination. It stands in Haman's courtyard." "Hang Haman on it," the king ordered. So they did, and the king's wrath was pacified. Not too sure what that means or says. On that same day, King Ahasuerus gave the estate of Haman, the Jews' enemy, to Queen Esther. Then Mordecai was brought before the king, for Esther had told the king that he was her cousin and foster father. The king took off his ring, which he had taken back from Haman, and gave it to Mordecai, appointing him prime minister. And Ethyr appointed Mordecai to be in charge of Haman's estate. And now once more, Ethyr came before the king, falling down at his feet, and begged him with tears to stop Haman's plot against the Jews. And again the king held out the golden scepter to Ethyr. So she arose and stood before him and said, "If it pleases your majesty, and if you love me, send out a decree reversing Haman's order to destroy the Jews throughout the king's province. For how can I endure it, to see my people butchered and destroyed?" Then King Ahasuerus said to Queen Ethyr and Mordecai the Jew, "I have given Ethyr the palace of Haman, and he has been hanged upon the gallows because he tried to destroy you. Now go ahead and send a message to the Jews telling them whatever you want to in the king's name." Sorry, I keep feeling like I have bugs on me. "Whatever you want to in the king's name, and seal it with the king's ring so that it can never be reversed." Immediately the king's secretaries were called in, and it was now the 23rd day of the month of July. And they wrote, as Mordecai dictated, a decree to the Jews and to the official government, the officials, governors, I keep losing my place, governors and princes of all the province of India and Ethiopia, 127 in all. The decree was translated into the languages and dialects of all the people of the kingdom. Mordecai wrote in the name of the king Ahasuerus and sealed the message with the king's ring, and sent the letters by swift carriers, riders on camels, mules, and young dormandeer, I don't know what that is, used in what was this? Camels, used in the king's service. This decree gave the Jews everywhere permission to unite in the defense of their lives and their families, to destroy all the forces opposed to them, and to take their property. The day throw out all the provenance of King Ahasuerus was the 28th day of February. It further stated that a copy of this decree, which must be recognized everywhere. Let's see. As law must be broadcasted to all the people so that the Jews would be ready and prepared to overcome their enemies. So the mail went out swiftly, carried by the king's coroners, and speeded by the king's commandment. The same decree was also issued at Shashra's palace. Then Mordecai put on the royal robes of blue and white, and the great crown of gold, with the outer cloak of fine linen and purple, and went out from the presence of the king throughout the city streets filled with shouting people. Okay, sorry that my reading was not that good today. I was just pretty distracted, and I'm a little bit tired since I already went on my walk. But I think I did okay. We're about to be on the book of Job, so that'll be coming next, hopefully. And for right now, that's all. Hopefully tomorrow I'll make a little short of me just walking around talking about God, because that does get more views on shorts. And hopefully then I can reach out to more people if possible. If not, it is what it is. But I'll post this video, and then hopefully soon I will have a gaming video coming whenever I feel like recording one. But thank you so much for watching. God bless you all. I pray you all have an amazing and beautiful day out there. Stay safe and peace out.